So I've built tons of sales teams for my clients doing over 6 figures per month. And here are 9 things that I've learned about building a sales team and that you should implement when you're building a sales team in regards to hiring, training, and managing. And the way this video is going to work is going to be very simple, okay? We're going to have 3 topics: hiring, training, and managing. And in these 3 topics, there's going to be 3 lessons that I've learned about each of these things: hiring, training, and managing. Things that I've learned in my experience building sales teams, things that I do now, things that I take into consideration, and things that you moving forward when building your own sales teams or building sales teams for your clients can take into account too. So let's just jump straight into it, okay? Number 1, the hiring phase. I think the number 1 most important thing I've learned when hiring sales reps for my clients is that interviews are not everything, okay? Interviews don't mean shit, I'll be honest. I've had sales reps that have come to interviews, made a 5-star performance. Honestly, everything's been perfect. They've interviewed really well. They've got the experience. They've said all the right things. They've been so confident that they can work for me. And I've put them on an offer. I've put them on my offer. And it's come down to actually doing the work, doing what they've said they can do, living up to the promises that they've said they can make. And it's just hit the fan. You know what I mean? All of these things that they've promised, all of these things that they said, turns out that they can't really do these things, or they just haven't been a good fit. They haven't had the work ethic. They haven't had the skill. They haven't had whatever, okay? I've had people that have interviewed well and done a terrible job. And then I've also had people that have interviewed terribly in regards to experience or even conviction sometimes, okay? They've come on, I haven't really been able to gauge their personality, their conviction, what they're about, but it's come to it. I've given them the role, I've given them a little taster, and they've turned into superstars. They've come in, they've turned into superstars, they've blossomed straight away. They've started booking appointments, started closing deals, started making money, and they furthered the business. The sad part about this is that there's not a lot that you can actually really do about interviews, okay? Like I said, you can have people that interview really well and do terrible, and people that interview terribly but do really well. I think the only thing that you can really do actually about this is just trust in your gut, okay? No matter what their experience is, what does your gut tell you? Okay, does this person have conviction? Are they confident? Can you see yourself working with this person? Can you see yourself going out for a drink with this person, okay? What does your gut tell you? Trust your instinct, and I promise you, 9 times out of 10, obviously there is a chance it will fail you, but just go with what you believe, and it'll be the best decision you've made, rather than just going off of first impressions, because honestly, first impressions can be so deceiving. So number 1, the hiring process, trust your gut. That's the first lesson I've learned. Number 2 is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel with your teams every single time. Okay, I've got tons of clients, and if I'm being honest, some of the clients' sales teams, I literally just copy and paste an initial sales team I've got for a client who's doing really well, and I put them into a different client. If I've got one setter that's doing really well for one of my clients, why find another setter? Why train up another setter when this set's got availability? They can manage both. Oh, I'll just put them on this role and we'll both crush it. The client will be happy because the setter's doing a great job. The setter will be happy because they've got more opportunity to make more money. It's a win-win situation, you don't always have to continuously reinvent the wheel when you're building your sales teams. If you can, implement the same ones, put them into different offers, manage them effectively. Now that you've already managed them here, there's not a lot that needs to be done, it's just instant success. Put them in straight away, get them to do the work that's needed, build crazy results, and go from there, Don't always reinvent the wheel. Sometimes just copy and paste previous sales teams from either different departments of your business or previous people that you've worked with, you've trained with, It's so much easier to work with and hire people that you've trained with initially, rather than having to reinvent the wheel every time and going through tons of interview processes, like I mentioned in point number 1. Number 3, A players associate with A players. If you've got a setter, if you've got a closer that's doing a great job, that's a stud, they're crushing it, why are you going to go and look for another person to place on another role, go and look for a completely different, fresh person, when all you can do is just ask your A player, do they have any referrals? Do they have any friends? Okay, referrals are the best type of people you can work with, whether that's a client, whether that's a a recruit. You know what I mean? Whether that's a client or a recruit, if you can get referrals from your A players or from great clients for people who are looking for the same sort of work, it's a no-brainer. You've already trust them now. You already know what they can do. Even if they don't have experience, A players associate with A players. I myself, I associate with tons of A players. Some of the best setters, some of the best closers I've brung in for my clients have been referrals. You know what I mean? So utilize referrals. Your A players, ask them, hey, do you know any other closers? Do you have any set of friends that are looking for roles? Oh yeah, I do. I've actually got this friend who we do role play all the time. Can I swing him over? Boom, easy peasy. Now, moving on to the training phase. I think one of the first biggest lessons I've learned when training teams is that you have to lead from the front. My friend Temi Lowry, my very good friend, calls it the Napoleon style. You know what I mean? You have to lead from the front like Napoleon Bonaparte, okay? Show them how it's done. If you've got a team and you lead from the front every day, you're in there showing them how it's done, or you start showing them how it's done. You show them that this is what you do, this is why it works, this is why you should listen to me. And you've got conviction, they can see you know what you're doing. If you're good at your job, they're going to follow you because you've just shown them right there that, oh, well, Dave has done it, so why can't I do it? If Dave has proved it's possible, I just have to work really hard so I can get to the point where I can do the same. Okay, lead from the front with your team. Your team will be able to sense it. They'll be able to fish it out like a bad smell if you don't know what you're doing. If you're telling them to do things that you wouldn't do yourself or that you don't have the skill to do yourself. Okay, well, most of my clients, some days whenever I bring on a new client, initially for the first week, I'll be the one doing the closing, doing the setting, getting a feel out for myself so that when I bring in the team, I've already got the first-hand experience. All right, these are the do's, these are the don'ts. This approach works really well, this approach not so much, and we can go from there. I've already got the data, I've got the information, you know what I mean? I've got the information of what works, what doesn't work, and it's so much easier for the team to see results because I've led from the front, you know what I mean? So make sure you lead from the front when you're building your sales teams, when you're training your setters, your closers, because I promise you, this will give them so much conviction, and it will also skip out on a lot of mistakes that you wouldn't know how to solve unless you've actually been in that position yourself. Number 2 is train them slow but fast, okay? I was watching a documentary of the soldiers. They stormed, I can't remember. It was something to do with the USA, and it was a classified mission, okay? Mine went blank, but he said something. He said, slow is smooth, but smooth is fast. You know what I mean? When you're doing something slow, it's smooth. And when you're doing something smooth, it's fast. So instead of doing something fast, but it's very unsmooth and it's just unorganized, you want to train your team slow but smooth, and smooth is going to make it fast in the long run, rather than you going super fast, missing out on important things, not doing the greatest job. Just do it slowly but fastly, okay? In a week, have multiple touch points, make sure you're training them, and make sure you're doing it slowly but smoothly, and smoothly but fastly. You know what I mean? It sounds a little bit confusing, but I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about, okay? The smoother you're able to be, the faster you're actually able to get the results, the quicker they're able to learn everything, and the easier it is for your team to see the most success. Myself, when I first started, I loved to rush everything, and that came back to bite me in the bum. Sales is one of those things where you can't cheat the game. Okay, you have to do everything properly because the game will know if you cheat it. Number 3, in regards to training, SOPs are everything. Okay, SOPs and process maps. If you can process map everything you've done for one team, all of the systems, all of the training documents, all of the resources, all of the videos, all of the daily reports, if you can process map this and just copy and paste it for your clients or for yourself, whenever you bring in someone else, you just send them the Notion, they go through it all. No brainer. You just saved so much time rather than having to create tons of videos, create tons of documents. No, you document everything once. And whenever you bring in a new setter, you bring in a new closer, instead of having to teach them everything again, start from ground zero, teach them over a 3-month period or 6-month period like you've done with your previous sales reps. Just send them the SOP, send them the Notion, and they're already at a massive advantage rather than you having to go through everything on a call. At the end of the day, your time is precious. So once you spend time on something once, you don't have to spend much time on it again. Document it all, process map it, give it to your team, and I promise you, your life will be so much more easier, okay? So that's number 3, SOPs over everything. Finally, the final phase is just management, okay? First thing I've learned about management is just, you need to incentivize, okay? When you're managing sales teams, you need to incentivize them. I was speaking to someone called Ro Mexico. He's done over 400 million for his clients in the direct sales space, okay? And he was doing a mastermind, and I was learning from him, and he said, listen, he's got different incentives. He knows his sales reps inside out. He's got different incentives that he knows that, all right, cool, if I incentivize them this way, then when they go knocking on the doors, when they go doing the sales, they're going to be so hungry to get the best results possible so that, they can get this incentive, okay? In London, I'm sure you guys know about Thirsty Thursday. If you don't, it's, Thursday's the new Friday. He incentivizes his teams with beer. Every sale they get a free pint. You know what I mean? Something like that. Your team are going to love it. You're going to love it. The culture is just going to be there. And it's a win-win, okay? I always incentivize my team with bonuses. If you book X amount of calls, you get this. All of this just comes with knowing your team, building that relationship. And once you know them, you know what's going to make them, you know what's going to trigger them, you know what's going to make them tick, and you're going to know how to get the most out of them. But most of this just comes with time, you know what I mean? And comes with learning people skills. Number 2, laugh and joke with them. It sounds very simple, but with my team, we laugh and joke. It's not just serious corporate. Well, it's not corporate. Oh, I'm in a vest right now. But I laugh and joke with my team. We'll be laughing and bantering. We'll be taking a mick out of each other. We'll be violating each other. Oh, you didn't make any sales. We're boosting that. We're building that competitiveness. You know what I mean? We're building that competitiveness. We're showing them like, listen, this is all good vibes. We're taking the mick out of each other. Obviously, it's nothing serious. We're not actually beefing each other. But, we'll throw digs at each other. Like, oh, you didn't make any sales today? Oh, you know what I mean? Laugh and joke with your team, because I promise you, that just motivates them so much to want to do better. If you violate one of your team members for not making any sales in a funny way and they know that you're joking, the next day, I guarantee you, they're not going to want to be violated again. So they're going to go full steam ahead to make sure that they make sales and to make sure that they can violate someone else, to make sure that they can violate you. Oh, I made sales today. The leader didn't make any sales. You know what I mean? Always make sure you laugh and joke with the team. Okay, I laugh and joke with all of my boys, all of the sales reps that I build, all of the sales teams that I implement, and the team culture is just there and everything is spot on. Okay, so make sure you're laughing and joking with your team. Laugh and joke, bully each other, build that competitive spirit, as it's going to get the most out of you and it's going to get the most out of your team. Finally, number 3 is just team culture of everything, okay? This goes hand in hand with the second point, but just if you can build a strong team culture with your team, I promise you, a team will crush it, okay? Mediocre team with great team culture will always trump a team with great skills, a great team, but terrible team culture or mediocre team culture. The team with team culture is going to violate the team with no team culture, because everyone's fighting for themselves. Everyone's fighting for themselves and they're fighting for each other and they back themselves, okay? All of my team, we fight for each other. We go out there, we get the results, and that's why the team culture is there. That's why we're going to crush any other sales teams that could ever build a business or build a sales teams for other business owners, because the team culture is there. Okay, we're warriors. We're going at it. We're making sure we get you your commissions. We get you your sales. You know what I mean? And again, this just comes with knowing your team. Building a team with people you actually like and getting to know them. You get to know what makes them tick. And team culture is something that, when I got into sales, it made me tick. When I work with my mentors or when I work with other clients, etc., it made me tick. And it's something that I've implemented into my sales teams that I build for business owners, okay? So that's number 3, team culture of everything. I'd rather have a mediocre team with great team culture rather than a great team with mediocre team culture. Team culture smashes everything, because everyone's going to be there fighting for the most commissions, fighting for the best results, and making the most money because they're incentivized to smash it for the team and do well for themselves. Hope you guys have enjoyed that very quick video. 9 things that I've learned when building over 6-figure teams. And I hope you've learned something here right now that you can actually implement yourself when building sales teams or building sales teams for your clients. Book a link down below. I've got a free sales audit where we'll literally, free call, limited amount of time, audit your sales team. What are you doing? What do the processes look like? Can I give you any insights? Can I share some of the things that I'm doing with some of my clients that are doing 6 figures? Can I actually share these things with you? Do these things actually, all these things work for you? And go from there. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Catch you soon.